You want to get the ingrown piece out first. Just a little wedge there. Just to relieve that pressure. You have to remove the ingrown before you put any brace on it. So, there we go. Take that out. Okay, let me grab my burr here. Okay. Oh yeah, there's a lot of pressure in here. I can feel it.
Oh, from my thumb?
Yeah. So we want to make sure all those sharp edges are gone. I'm actually going to soften down here because I can feel some pressure in there still. So let me just soften and feel with the wax file. Yeah, that's a deep one. Okay. So when you're getting an ingrown out, you always go behind it. You don't want to go right into where it's ingrown. You want to come behind it and just follow the nail fold. You can use your nippers to get all that dead skin out. That's usually the cause of all the pressure. Because the nail itself actually didn't look like it was ingrown.
Yeah.
It looks like you got whatever you needed out, but there's this big area, almost like a pocket, that all that dead skin builds up into. So our goal here is to get the nail to grow out wider and straighter so it doesn't get stuck in that little pocket anymore. So that feel a bit better in there? Yeah, like the pressure's off.
Better.
Yeah, so you always want to get that out. Like, you don't brace a nail until you get the ingrown out because it's still going to become ingrown distal to where the brace is applied because it hasn't corrected there yet. How about this side? Does that feel
Yeah, that's not too bad.
okay too? Yeah.
The problem is on the left side.
Yeah. So I'll make sure I clean all that debris out of there too, because that can cause no pressure. Just make sure everything's out. So I'm just feeling that the nail, it may be a little bit curled in there still. Okay. One more check here with the file to make sure. Feels smooth, and that feels better. Not as much buildup in there now. The taper burr is the best to use for smoothing any ingrown toenail down after trimming the wedge out. Now we've got to buff the nail. So that the brace will adhere better. Okay. I'm gonna dehydrate it a bit more with an alcohol swab. cotton. Actually, I can use this one again. So once that nail looks dried out, and there's no ridges here, any ridges in the nail need to be filed down. It has to be a totally smooth surface. And then we're going to put 1 drop of the primer. And you want to get it on the nail before it soaks into the cotton. And you're going to apply it on the nail. Try and avoid the skin, but sometimes it's difficult. I will take an alcohol swab too after anyways. Okay, we're going to cure this with the light for 20 seconds. This is an automatic, you just hit the 20 seconds. Now I do move this back and forth just because the light can produce heat and cause discomfort. So I do this to decrease that. Okay, 20 seconds. I'm just going to dehydrate one more time, just around the skin. Okay, now we're going to apply the hard brace and fix, or sorry, the strong brace and fix. Twist. It can be resistive, so I usually take less than what I think I need because I don't want to waste it. And if I need to add more, I can add more. I'll use a spatula to pull that off straight. And then I'll just mold it in my hands to soften it a bit more. And then I will apply it on the nail. So I usually flatten it right down. I find it easier to work with if I flatten it, rather than keeping it bulky and trying to flatten it with the spatula. So we're going to aim for the widest part of the nail. And I do believe I might need a little bit more here. Yeah, a little bit more. Just a millimeter more. Again, I'll just roll that in my hand to soften it. And just add it to the top of that, and I will spread it out. So I spread it out first, and then I build the height of it. You don't want it to get stuck to the skin as you're molding it. Sorry, as you're curing it. So I try to keep it as close to the skin without being attached to it. If you want it to widen those corners, don't worry about the top being perfectly flat because we are going to file it with the burr after to remove any ridges or whatever. So it should be about 2 millimeters by 2 millimeters, but try not to overthink it. I've been doing bracing for 6 years, and I have found that the width and height, as long as it's thick enough, it tends to stay adhered. And you want to make sure you're not seeing any gaps between the nail plate and the brace, so you want to make sure it's actually flat against the nail. You don't want air pockets. I think that looks pretty good there. There. This is a really involuted nail, so it can be really hard to get it right to the edge. Sometimes nails like this can also sometimes need 2 braces once this one grows to the end. Everyone's different. Sometimes I've seen nail correction for an involuted nail like this happen with 1 brace, but a lot of times it needs 2. And usually once this brace gets to about halfway, I will piggyback it with another brace if this one's still intact. And yeah, okay. So we're ready to cure it. So this is done for 40 seconds, on solid 40 seconds. And again, you want to keep moving it just for patient comfort. Feel okay?
Yeah, it feels good. I think I would do this. It seems satisfying to put that stuff
It is.
on.
It's very, it's even more satisfying when you see the results.
Mhm.
I usually like to take photos in the beginning and then
Before and after,
monitor
right?
the progress as it goes.
Mm.
I have a whole album of nail bracing. Okay, so that's hardened now. That's completely hardened on there. I am now going to take a ceramic burr. Not a really heavy grit one, just kind of a lighter grit. Just to smooth the top of the brace. This is catching. I don't know why. There we go. Okay. Okay. So this is where you can fix your perfectionist areas of the ridges that may have happened when you were molding it. This smooths it right down. You don't put pressure into this like a thickened nail. You're really just smoothing any imperfections on the brace. And you only want to go across the top of it. You don't want to come on the side of it because you can break it. So there we go. And I'm just going to put a little bit more alcohol on it just to see. So yeah, that's it. Typically a 4 to 6 week follow-up usually. So we can monitor the progression
Are you
of the
doing the
brace.
second one too?
Pardon?
Are we doing the